Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. Today, I am so excited to have you back, Catherine. If you watched our part one of this video, you'll know how much value was dropped, and it was a little bit of a shorter episode because we're all stumped for time. So I am so excited to have you back. We're going to do part two of our visibility, consistency, being out there, getting your word out of that episode, because there is so much more to say and there is so much deeper we can go on this topic to help you guys out. So keep watching if you want to learn how to build your audience, build your business, and all that good stuff. So, Misty, without further ado, over to you.
Thank you, Josie. Hey guys, Catherine, we're so excited you're back with us. We're super excited. This is very powerful. And we know that you've been working on your visibility and growing your business and everything. And you know what? I'm just going to ask you because I'm super excited. I really want to know how things are going. How has it been for you being more visible? I know you had said you had gone live right after our last one, and we're talking about stuff on there. So can you just kind of give us an update? How are things going for you with that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first I want to thank Misty and Jesse for having me back, because I really appreciate it. It's such an honor to be with such legends like the two of you, and I truly appreciate it. So first of all, thank you for having me back. I just want to start with that. It's just great to be here. So thank you so much. So yes, let me give you an update. So I think, as I said before, the lives are something that I don't necessarily love as much, because like I just did this earlier, like I banged my new boots on this, the chair rail. And so I tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist, which can hurt you in any business, because, you might take something 10 times to try to get it right. And then you lose time and momentum. But I did a live right after we did this first podcast, and it was my first podcast ever. So I think I was kind of on a high and really excited. And it had almost 1,000 views actually. And which was probably on Instagram. And I think that's the highest number of views that I have received on, on a reel, if if you talk about, on a reel. And I was like, wonder why. So I started looking at others that, maybe I had 200 views, or, maybe max 500 or 600. And I thought, why did I have well over 900? So basically almost 1,000. And so I sent it to a few people and said, hey, what do you like? Is there something you see here? Because I want to emulate it. And so actually, I was talking to you all about that. So Misty, if you want to say what you thought was the reason why, because I think that's really important to go back, especially when I've been in business with healthcare and what I do for almost 25 years. So it's not that I'm new to what I do. That part I feel, really great about, with working with my clients and that type of thing. But this part is totally new for me. So that's why I depend on people like you, the experts, to help me build this part up. So I'd really love to hear from you. I think you would state it better. Why you think that particular live, like right after the show, was such a success, because I think only 1 or 2 people watched it when it was live. So that's what really surprised me when I was flipping back and saw how many people watched it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I think, hey, first of all, congratulations, almost 1,000 views. That's amazing. That's
Thank you.
absolutely incredible. I mean, yes, that's a big hand for you. Hoo ha hoo. Um, I think it's because the fact that you were still on, like you said, that high from being on the episode, that energy's up. It's the way you're expressing yourself, the way you're hitting every word and emphasizing certain things. It's the fact that it's unscripted.
Yeah.
And it's like, so people are seeing that it's authentic you. And I think that if things become off scripted, if they're too scripted, then it's unreal and authentic and people can't relate.
Okay.
So that's what I think that is. And I think that it's the fact that it was alive. It was because when people see live, whether it's live at the moment or if it's like a recorded live, they have a tendency to be like, oh, what were they doing? I'm curious. Because we're all nosy, right? We're just nosy people. We want to know what's going on. What are you doing? What are you
Right.
doing right now that's so important you have to go live? So they want to know. So the fact that it was live, the fact that it was unscripted, the fact that the energy was up and the feelings and you're just authentic, all of that contributes.
Yeah.
Did you have something to say, Josie?
Josie, what were you
When you're done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I can do stuff all the time. I can go live and my reels, my pre-recorded reels end up getting more views than my live does. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense to me, but it's whatever's people can resonate with the most.
Right.
And I find that the things that I do reels and I'll do some reels and I'll just be goofing around and, like showing a little bit of actually what I'm like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And those will get more views than the actual topics that I think are more important. So
Really?
it's, yeah,
Yes.
because you're more relatable. It's something that like this person's goofy, this person can be just themselves, and that's relatable. So when you're being visible, you have to make sure that you're relatable. And like you said, being a perfectionist can be your downfall because you're too perfect.
Absolutely.
It's not somebody can connect with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if you're saying that you hit your boot on the reel of your chair and you're clumsy, I'm clumsy. Let that shine. Don't
Yeah,
don't
clumsy.
that.
That's the funny thing. I really, actually, I'm so clumsy. I really.
Yeah, well, see, that's something people can relate to. Because first of all, Christine, you're beautiful. You're intelligent. You have a beautiful home. And then you try to script everything and you try to put everything into perfection, it makes you unrelatable. So when you have that little mishaps and clumsiness in there, that makes it's like, oh, I can calm down. I don't have to be like on
Right.
edge. I don't have to try to fit into this. Not that you're doing it on purpose. It's that people are trying to reach that standard that you've
Right.
set for yourself. And although that standard's fantastic, it can be unsustainable.
Right.
So when you are relaxed and you are for yourself, it's going to benefit you more and they're going to relate to you better. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not offending at all.
It's perfect. This is, like I said, this is why I love doing this. And I also, why I love working with you all. One thing about me that's very, very true is I really like being with genuine, authentic people.
Mhm.
And I also like getting genuine and authentic feedback from people that I know care. You know, because to me, that makes all of us better. So I'm
Yeah.
willing to be in the hot seat, so to speak, number one, because it'll make me better. But I also think when other people are listening, that can be, helpful.
I think
Yeah.
I think that you recognizing that you're a perfectionist
Yeah.
and me kind of saying this, I think that once you get it, you can
Right.
really analyze that into your head. You're going to be able to relax a little more. It's going to like relieve stress off of you. You're going to be like, I can be a perfectionist to a certain point, but then when it comes to convey things, I can have a script down and kind of use that as a guideline, but still make it authentic and at the moment and not feel robotic. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I love what you said too about the things that you're talking about, you think are the most important, and then they don't get enough views, because I realized that some of the things that I thought that I was going to convey that were like the most important, if you will, didn't get the number of views that I would have liked. And not because I'm counting views like, oh my gosh, I have to have a certain number. That wasn't it. It's simply that when I think about like what I'm doing, and the message that I would like to convey about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and the people that, I'd like to, interact with and be of service to, I noticed that, in other words, that message didn't come across then to as many people as I want to work with. And so that means
it's like how many people am I hitting and how many people am I serving is what
right,
we do.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so that means that I have to look at that and say, all right, I know how to help this type of client, but if I can't reach them, I cannot help them. So that means I have to look at what am I doing to, I guess, how can I then improve, like you said, the visibility? How can I improve my presentation or my delivery, if you will, so that I am reaching those people that, again, professionally, I know I can help and I want to work with. However, if there's a disconnect between how I'm presenting myself, right, and then what I'm and then what I'm putting out there, then I'm not doing anyone. I'm doing a disservice, basically, because really, I'm not. I mean, I'm not here to be an influencer. If that makes you get my.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
not what I'm trying to do.
I'm really glad you said that, because it brings me really nicely onto something else I wanted to bring up. But first, I also just wanted to say it's what Misty, you were saying, kind of reminds me of what we've been focusing on, especially this week inside the FLC for family, like as in sales. It's context over content. So what Seb tells us is it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. People are going to listen to you much more if you're using your body language, you're using tones, you're using pace, like, yeah, and also
I'm taking notes.
Everybody else, take out your pens, write it down.
no, have a pen and paper. It's about all these different things. It's not specifically what you say, because for example, in sales, we have a script, right? We all know the script. We know there's a script. We know there's certain things we have to say. But if we're going about the script and I'm just like, hello, Misty, hello, Catherine, how are you today? Let's talk about visibility. That's so boring. None of you, I bet like that 5 seconds people wanted to turn off this video already. It's how you're saying and all these different things, like you hitting your boot, it keeps it interesting, and us like having these conversations. Sometimes our conversation doesn't go perfectly, we talk over each other, we mess up, we forget what we're going to say, but this is all like real, and it's what, in my personal experience, makes someone so much more worth watching than if it's all very scripted and very boring kind of. So very much context
you
over.
don't want to be robotic.
Yeah,
we don't want to be robotic with anything. So it's
exactly. And I'm really glad you were talking about there's people out there that you need to get your message to and you can serve, and how are you going to serve them if you don't get your message out there? And it's a duty, it's an obligation to get yourself out there, as uncomfortable as it is, making a call, doing the video, posting. It is your duty to reach out to these people. And the reason I'm saying I really like that you brought that up is I know that when you first started, it was really uncomfortable for you, right? But you found your ways around it. So tell us more.
Thank you. Well, I think honestly, practicing doing it for one thing, and being okay that, I mean, my first ones, I look back at my first ones and sort of laugh at them, yes. But I do think understanding that, okay, because I'm sort of old school, I like to meet people and that type of thing, but realizing that especially after COVID, that the way that people are interacting now is, many times through social media. And so learning that, okay, if I want to reach the clients that I want to help, then I have to sort of get over myself, if you will, and
Mhm.
realize that this is a necessary tool. You know, um,
Oh yeah.
to be honest with you, like IT is not my best thing, and anyone in the FLC family that's been watching this is going to go, no joke. They're going to all fall out of their chairs, like no joke. Yes, it's not. So the other part is I've really had to challenge and push myself to learn something that um, I'm not good at, and because I do tend to lean towards perfectionism and want to do things well, I've had to face like every single day, almost feeling like I've been hitting a brick wall on certain things when I've been trying to just upload a video. Like the first time I uploaded just a single post on Instagram, it took me hours. And I know that's funny to people who, especially, this younger generation, like it took you hours to upload one post. I'm like, yes, it did, and but it did. I'd never done it. I didn't know what I was doing. I lost it. I deleted it. It just was this whole thing. So it's been a challenge for me. So I guess in answering your question, Josie, yes, there's that perfectionist side of me. I think probably my mother just always believed, and I love my mother so much, that if something was worth doing, it's worth doing well, and just
Mm.
always bringing your A game, always bringing excellence to the table. And I do think that there is something to be said about bringing your best, about bringing
Mhm.
excellence out of yourself and hopefully out of others. When it crosses over to perfectionism, that's the problem.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's the fine line that, like, at least in my life, I hope it's okay. I'm being this vulnerable and honest about this. That for
It's going
me,
to make you more relatable, and people are going to look at this and say, I want to do business with this person because she's real. And I want you to know, you are not the first or the only person that it takes that long to upload a video.
yeah,
Okay. You saying that and letting people know that that's where you're at as far as technology goes makes you more relatable, because you don't realize how many people that are watching your stuff that are the older generation that
yeah,
don't know how to do anything with, I mean, they may be able to turn on a computer or even haven't even found the button yet. So you're not the only one that's going through that. And I think it's amazing that you're willing to be this vulnerable, because it shows people, hey, this is somebody I can trust and I can relate to. So I want to thank you for that. I'm going to let you continue saying what you're saying, but I wanted to bring that out right away. I want to thank you for that, because it really means a lot, not just to Josie and I, but to everybody else who your lives you're touching. It means a lot that you're willing to open up and show us who you are. And it just lets us know this is a true person. This is somebody I can relate to and I want to do business with.
thank you.
So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. About tears in my eyes, because I tell you, I mean, dealing with this part of the technology and learning it, and I've been like, oh, I wish I was near, closer to you all, because I could. I mean, you all do help online and all that, but sometimes I feel like I need a study buddy, like somebody right
yeah.
beside me. And so doing it, and I do want to say this for people who are older and we don't have this skill set. I do want to be hopefully um, a cheerleader and a role model. And because here's the thing, people my age, we have the experience. Like we have the
Mhm.
experience or whatever the experience is in whatever we are doing, right? And the thing that's stopping us is the part that you all are excellent at. And so what we have to then do is, even though we might have obtained an expertise, in a certain field, we then have to become like beginners, like true beginners in this area. And I'll be honest with you, when you've, like I've been an expert witness in litigation cases and things of this nature. So when you've been, when you've worked your way up to here, after the years, and you've got to go, woo, it's hard. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's hard. But it's especially hard when, and it can also sometimes feel a little bit, what's the word I'm looking at? Sometimes it actually made me feel stupid, like feeling like, okay, 17, 18, 19-year-old, probably 15-year-olds can do what I'm struggling to do. And so it made me, I think I doubted myself for a while, like, can I even do this? And so I was about to say that what I have with this, my mother taught me was bringing out excellence, though, was that I have a very strong work ethic. And so just decided I was not going to give up. Now, some days I did. Some days I was like, let's throw the computer out the window. I'll go do something else. I'll come back to it some other day. I didn't put the computer out, but you know what I mean.
That's necessarily giving up. That's taking a break when you need to break.
Yeah.
Giving up is something when you completely quit doing it and never come back to it.
Right.
It's okay to take those breaks, just never giving up fully, always coming back to it.
And that's the thing. I was determined. I remember when Tiberi and I talked and I signed on with, FLC, I was like, I knew this was this is my chance. Like, I'm not giving it. Like, this is it. So we all know we create this program, this funnel to create your program and to create for me as a coaching program and who in the marketing and building that whole foundation for your business. I don't know. If we could ask, I might have taken the longest of anybody ever because of certain things that I didn't know, and everyone's been very patient about that because this part was more challenging, for me, the IT aspect. I would get home working. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to use these applications, much less, do this. But I was determined, and it did take longer. But I'm glad what you said about this, because I do think that there are, especially women out there, that have a lot to offer. But this part stops us. This part stops us. And so I think it's really important to understand that we do have gifts, strengths, talents, and abilities to give to the world. However, we are also going to need to check our egos at the door and to be able to ask for and also pay for, the help and the expertise that we need so that we can reach the people that we need to reach. So that's a long-winded way of answering your question, Josie, but I just think it was for me, it was a multifaceted answer, because there wasn't just one thing. It was, it was multiple things that, for me, that made me push forward and made me realize step by step that, okay, this is what I'm going to need to do. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to start doing YouTube. And I remember last time I was like, I'm not doing that. No, I don't even have. And a friend of mine was calling me. She called me this week. Yeah. And she's like, you need to go start doing your YouTube. I was like, okay. So I was thinking, I wasn't even going to do that until I had mastered, if you will, the Instagram and the Facebook, which I have not mastered, totally not mastered. And she's like, no, you need to go ahead. I was like, okay. So that'll be coming soon. And so that then, like you said, taking away the idea of mastery and that perfectionism and saying, well, okay, I'm on there, I'm doing it, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing the YouTube. So yeah, so that's just another thing. But I think, again, that's probably, and that might be the biggest thing, is being around people that encourage you, that will move forward and to achieve your goals, dreams, and objectives, and will say, and here's really what you need to do next. And trusting that the people that you're around really want the best for you, which goes back to surrounding yourself with people that that do, the caliber of people that you hang around. Harvard University put out a study about that in April of this year, 2023, that successful people people that are successful, 95%, which is huge, 95% of their success was related to their cohort, related to their reference group. 95%, which is huge. That number surprised me greatly. I mean, I just thought if you worked hard, I just thought if you worked hard. And so that really, I think, goes back to, and Tommy Newberry talks about that in his book. I have right here, the 4-8 principle. Anybody, I just had to the cover off. If you can see that, the 4-8 principle.
Yeah.
Tommy Newberry talks about that. And he just talks about the fact that, like a battery, if you think about a battery, one side's positive and one side is negative. There are no neutral interactions. So we have to be careful about our who we choose. And yes, I mean, are we going to have some conflicts or, interactions that might not be perfect? Of course, that is okay. It's, are we with people that have similar values and that are we don't have to think the same. That's not it. But are we with people that we all want to level up together? We are all willing to not just accept, but appreciate each other for our differences, not just expect. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And to work together and to want everyone to rise up. And if you're with a cohort and a group like that, that's when you're going to rise. Everybody else is going to rise. So I also think, Josie, that's probably maybe as I really think about it. Yes, was my desire for excellence. Yes, it was my determination not to give up. But I actually think the biggest thing too is finally surrounding myself with the right people.
Yeah. Good. Really good. Oh, so good. I love this. I love everything. I love everything that was said. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so true, right? Gosh, there was so many good things shared that I wanted to touch upon, but what it's okay to not know things. And I'm just like speaking in general, like all of us, it's okay to not know things. It's okay to be comfortable in one area, but not so much the other area. What's not okay is letting that stop you from going forward and not asking questions, not trying to figure out how, and just throwing in the towel because of that. So what you said about having those people around you is so powerful. And I'm really glad you said that. Have a coach, invest in teaching, invest in coaching, or just surround surround yourself with people that have been there before. So yeah, and there's the only way you're going to know how to do something is by doing it. The only way you learn to walk is by trying to walk and failing again, failing again. So there's really that you can do so much planning, and there's so many examples I could give, but with anything, you could do so much planning, years of planning. You're not going to know how to actually do it, how it actually is going to work until you do it. So take the action first, figure it out later, figure it out along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's one other thing that something in the beginning you guys were talking about reminded me of. So we do our training with the Cardone team.
Right.
And on our daily sales training, this guy was asking one of them, like, I don't want to make the call. I don't want to do it. Like, I can't do it. It just feels impossible. Same with like pressing that live button. I can't, like, I just can't. Right? Like, it's with anything.
I remember how long it took me to press the live button.
Yeah, no, all of us. It's tough. It feels
The struggle's
impossible.
real.
Yeah. Yeah, the struggle's real. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. But what he told him, the professional told him, is it's not about you. Like, you're feeling these feelings of fear and like, oh my God, what if? Because in your mind, it's about you. The outcome is a reflection of you. The outcome is just for you. It's not the call. that you're going to make to that person, the live that you're going to do, the reel you're going to post is not for you. It's not about you. It's about the other person. So, and what he said, which was it feels like a harsh way to say it, but by not doing that, you're being selfish. And that does sound very harsh. I know in FLC we say things in a less direct way, but it
Right.
really is, it is, right? It's, and not just you, Catherine, or you, Misty, or myself, anyone. Sometimes I don't want to make a call because I don't want it to affect me badly. But by doing that, I'm not serving the other person. So it's selfish. So yeah, you reminded me of that. So thank you. And I think it's really powerful. Just do the first one. The first one is
Yeah.
the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And like we've said before, if you never know whatever you say or doing,
Yeah.
somebody else needs. You may be saving a life by doing that action. So just by touching that live button, it may be really scary for you and like, I don't want to do this, but you're saving somebody else's life. You're really impacting somebody else. And if you didn't do that, that is selfish on your part because you're thinking more about you than you are about the people you could be serving and helping. So I completely get that. I agree.
I mean,
And your tribe is your vibe, right? Go ahead, Catherine.
well, I completely. I can think of an example that I was talking with my children about who've graduated high school now, but they both had my daughter's incredibly artistic, can sew her own clothes and just just like just graduated high school with all these awards and arts and things like that, just very creative. Her brother, my youngest, he was reads really well, are very, well, he was writing high school and college level papers, middle school and early high school. But I always told them, I said, what, God has given you gifts, God, the universe, however people would like to relate to the higher power. And I said what you just said, Josie, was that you've been given this, and to waste it is not okay. And I always told them, I said, it's okay if like you're not good at math, because we're not good at all things. If there's something you're not good at, that's all right. I just expect you to do your best. I always expect you to do your best. However, you don't get to waste your gifts and talents and abilities because I really felt that I told them, I said, you're given these for a purpose and for a reason. And I cannot tell you what the plan is for your life. You're going to figure that out. Your internal wisdom, you will know what the plan is for your life. However, you are not given these gifts for yourself. You are given them to make the world a better place. And so do not slack on these. And so it's funny when you were saying that, I was thinking about what I would tell them. And I said, I'm not going to take any excuses on the places where I know you are naturally gifted and naturally talented. I expect you to hone those skills.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's the same thing, what you're just saying, really.
Yeah. I love this. And I actually, yesterday, I'm reading the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I don't have it on me now.
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm still doing the sell or be sold one. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna do that one next. So maybe we can swap. But yeah. It's so good. And actually just yesterday I read something in there that is exactly what you were saying. So Grant Cardone, we all know him. If anyone watching doesn't, very successful person. And he keeps going higher. He keeps aiming higher
Yeah.
and wanting to be more successful. And this is what he said in the book, not because of the money per se or what the things he can buy that comes along with it, because he truly believes that it's an ethical issue and an ethical problem for him to not reach his potential. If he can go higher, go bigger, go better, help more people, why wouldn't he? If he
Right.
just sat back and suddenly became okay, and this is, I'm saying he, but everyone, just
Right.
suddenly became okay with where they are. Like, oh, I'm comfortable. Like I've reached this level of success. Like I'm good.
Right.
Then you're not reaching your potential. You still have other people out there that need your help. So he keeps pushing. As successful as he is, he's net worth of
Yeah.
a billion, like crazy. He keeps pushing because he believes it's an ethical problem to not do that. And it's exactly what you're saying. If you're given those talents, those gifts, why wouldn't you go use them? So I'm really glad you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it was just, well, it was a piggybacking, it's kind of circling around. And so, yeah, and I think it's become a problem where I think, at least in the United States, well, it can happen anywhere. If we decide to settle for mediocrity in our lives, then what are we doing? And so I think what you're saying, Grant is saying, it sounds like I've not read the book, but he's saying, no, if I've got superior gifts here, I'm going to go to that level of superiority where I am able to. We are not able to go to a level of superiority. I don't mean superior over anyone else. I just mean superior, being superior and going for excellence where we can.
You.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and measuring ourselves against where we were last year or 5 years ago, right? That's all I'm talking about. But you know, again, settling for mediocrity, it first, I honestly, in my own profession, working with clients, I also think it creates a lot of anxiety and depression. We all need a certain level of challenge, I believe. And I also believe that when people have a purpose, feel like they're fulfilling a life purpose, that they are happier and more fulfilled. But when we're settling for mediocrity in our lives, we are not going to then fulfill, I don't believe, you know, maybe the purpose that we're actually here to fulfill. So, in other words, I think like what Grant's saying too is there's a larger picture. It's not just like you said, it's not just about us. So that phone call is not that we're making to someone. It's not about us. It's about the other person on the phone. And is there a way that we, with our gifts and talents, can we help them rise up to be the best they can be? Is there, you know, is that something we can do? And then they in turn will be able to do that for someone else. So that's the other thing, is that anytime we do that, like when Grant does that, then he's creating a ripple effect. When you all do that with FLC and you help people, you know, create their businesses and are helping me, then I'm hopeful that I will be able to help lots of people and create that ripple effect. And then they will then be able to determine, so that makes sense. So I think that's a problem with mediocrity, is that if we say, well, we're just going to sit right here, you see, then it just stops. So when we're all lifting each other up, I think we just have the potential to do such great work in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we're at a time and place right now in the world where there's such, you know, I don't want to focus on the devastation, but there is devastation. There are some really hard things. And the thing is, I think when we are all really working to be the best version of ourselves, whatever that is, then, and to help each other rise, that is when we have the power to create change. It has to start within first, though. One of my mottos is, you know, it all begins with me. So it has to begin here, you know. Doesn't mean we don't ask for help, but it begins here to even ask for help and to know where we need help, right? That's just part of my value system, though. And then we grow together. But to me, you know, that's how we don't lose hope about the future. So that's why I do believe it's it's an important thing to do. So yes, that's making me learn more about social media and like I said, looking at the stats and looking at, gee, so why did I get almost 1,000? And so going at that one video and looking at that and saying, okay, so basically, what did I do right here? And that's an important question too. I will just say that as a life coach, we don't always need to look at what did I do wrong and where do I need to, what are my weaknesses and where do I do better? If we're always looking at our weaknesses, we will not succeed. because we must use our strengths to improve our weaknesses. So another really important question I just believe to ask yourself every day is, where have I been successful before? Where am I being successful now? To celebrate that small win, and to look for, okay, how did that happen? How was that created? And to duplicate it if possible. Because the more we do that, then the more successes and the more momentum we're going to have. So yes, it's important to know where you need to ask for help. But it's also important to acknowledge, I think, where you've had your successes, and to cheer, because that will help you cheer yourself on and to cheer others on too. So I think it's a both and, really.
Yeah, so powerful. So good.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, we're coming to getting really close to the end now, which really sucks because we're having so much fun and this conversation is so important. But just before we wrap up, Josie, did you or Catherine, do you have any closing words you'd like to say first?
I think let's end off with Catherine, because she has some gold always to drop. So best to last. I just gosh, I just love this conversation so much. And I really appreciate you, Catherine, for being so honest as well, and how open and honest this conversation was. And I really helped. I really helped. I really hope it helped anyone watching as well, because this is real. This is business. This is learning. This is sales. This is life. It's real, right? Like, the most successful people are also real. They've gone through challenges. They've asked for help. They've invested in things to get themselves to where they are. So you're on your journey, you're going to feel like you're doing things wrong. You're going to feel like quitting. You're going to feel like, oh my God, this is too hard. Let's just go to the easy, comfortable life again. But keep pushing, because everyone's been there, and the other side of that is so much more worthwhile than being comfortable for the rest of your life. So get uncomfortable, ask for help. If you are interested in having some help, having some coaching, if it's business, reach out to us. If you want life coaching, Catherine is amazing, can highly attest for her attitude, her work ethic, how much she cares about people. So all our social medias are in the description below. So thank you so much. And yeah, Catherine, over to you.
Well, sorry. Also, I got right at the so here we go, right at the best time. Again, thank you for having me. I think this is just an example of how Freedom Lifestyle Creators helps support all of its members. So if anyone needs help and you feel like social media is stopping you, this is the group to call. And I can tell you that because I spent a lot of money with other groups and it didn't really work out. So call them and they will help you walk. Sorry. They'll walk through the process.
We can cut it.
And so what I'll say too is what you were saying about not stopping. Rumi has that statement, the poet Rumi says, don't go back to sleep. So don't go back to sleep. So once you start realizing that you have a calling and you have a gift, don't go back to sleep. Do what you need to do to fulfill that. And if you do see something that you feel like is a block there, then start asking the question, not why is there the block, but what can I do? What resources can I find to overcome that block? And if that's your true calling, then the universe is going to provide you ways to overcome that block. So I hope I can just leave people with that that nugget of encouragement, and just to say that please don't think this has been easy for me. This has been, this part has been really, truly hard and challenging for me. But again, I know I have a calling and a duty to fulfill that. So when you know you have a calling and a duty, then you can't go back to sleep.
Wow.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Well said. So, guys, basically, we want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Catherine, thank you so much for being available for us and joining us here. We so appreciate you and love everything about you and what you're doing. Guys, if you found this episode important, if you liked any part of it at all, please hit the like, the share, the notifications. Help us push this channel out to as many people as possible, because we want to help as many people as possible to reach their freedom lifestyle, because here's where it begins, right? So I just want to leave with this as well, is when you're doing business and you're thinking, okay, this podcast is supposed to be business oriented, and they're always talking about mindset and personal growth and stuff. Okay, it's very important you understand business is not just a transaction between two different people or even several people in, a business. It is growth, it is change, it is life changing, it encompasses the entire being. So when you're doing business and you're caring about somebody else and trying to be of service, you have to care about that entire person, their mental, physical, emotional, spiritual state, right? You have to care about the entire person. So service is everything. Business is everything. And it's a journey. So with that being said, you guys keep learning, keep growing. If you have any feedback at all, whether it be good, bad, or amazing, which we always accept, or have any suggestions for future topics, let us know in the comments. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. And once again, welcome to the family, where once you're FLC family, you're family for life. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.